Welcome to the King's Court Network, Politics Life. You've reached your boy King Mumbles. We're going to be going through talking about the race regulations and how it affected the trade situation with Brittany Grinder, how racism and sexism played a role. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click like, click the notification button for future videos.
You think you've seen a scam before, but wait until you see this one. So just last week, a 22-year-old Bitcoin millionaire called Eric Finman announced to the world the Freedom Phone, a fully private smartphone, completely free of censorship and snooping by the big tech companies like Facebook and Twitter, and at the same time, one that is supposedly comparable to the best smartphones on the market. This and paid $500 for a Freedom Phone. And thanks to Dashlane for sponsoring this video. So, this has got to be some next-level smartphone, right? After all, the last Freedom Phone we saw was... Oh, right. Yeah. Anyways, just to give you a bit of context, Eric's reason for creating this phone was apparently inspired by the Jan 6th riots in the US. You might remember it. Donald Trump lost the election, and so a lot of his supporters stormed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to try and overturn that result. Now, what made this whole thing even more controversial was that a lot of this rioting had been coordinated on a free speech app called Parler. And so after all this happened, Google and Apple removed this app from their stores to discourage more people from joining in. This was the pivot point. Eric's whole message is that this was an unacceptable form of censorship, and that people should be able to say the things they want to say and use the apps they want to use. So he's created a phone that if you were an uninitiated consumer who didn't really know much about phones but saw the inspirational Twitter video and decided you want to buy, are you actually getting more freedom? Well, sort of. Maybe. The entire pitch here rests on this supposed new operating system that he's built, aptly named Freedom OS. It's basically Android, but with a lot of the snooping apps like Google Chrome taken out and replaced with non-snooping alternatives like DuckDuckGo. Bit misleading that he's pitching it like it's some revolutionary software he's built from scratch, but we'll let that slide. And just to give the guy a little bit of credit, he's not wrong in that there are certain apps that Google has censored, that this phone's app store, called Patriarch, will allow you to download. And the kind of finishing message that he's leaving people with is that Freedom Phone does everything your current phone does, except censor and spy on you. But this is where things start to go wrong. I mean, just to begin with, we can't verify that statement because we've got no idea what it does. There's not a single spec on the website. You don't know what processor you're getting, what cameras, what battery, and instead under each feature category, there's just a buy it now button. All we have is this little quote that says, best phone in the world. But who said that? Is this guy quoting himself? Also, isn't it just a little ironic, given the whole anti-big tech stance, that this product was announced via a tweet, and then the buy page actively encourages you to sign up to and share using these big tech platforms? But okay, just putting all that aside for a second, the concept of Freedom OS is fine. It's just, from everything we can see so far, it looks almost identical to an already existing free piece of software called Lineage OS. That would be a best case scenario. And he did. He put all of that 1,000 he had into Bitcoin back when Bitcoin was worth nothing, and when that blew up, his 1,000 ballooned into well over 2 million. That's all well and good, congratulations to him, but the point is, it doesn't in any way qualify him to be responsible for all of your data. He might be a little more reputable than one or two CEOs I know. But Eric Finman to provide you with the regular security updates your phone needs to protect itself. And if you're not getting those updates, then having a completely unfiltered app store, where nothing is censored even if it's malware, could create more problems than it solves. This is probably the reason for articles like this, and this. Bit harsh, but the point stands that nothing this guy has done so far in his career demonstrates that he is in any way an authority on security, let alone the fact that who knows what kind of support you're going to get here. There's no contact number for the company, and the only email address doesn't answer. Or at least has left me on red for 3 days straight. Besides, this whole idea of giving people the option to use apps that have been banned, it's not a selling point. If I wanted to download Parler on my Android phone, even though I can't find it on the Google Play Store, all I'd need to do is to rock up to the Parler website and just get it from there, for free. And even this Patri app store itself, we can see from these celebrity endorsement videos what the interface looks like. And that's enough to all but confirm that all this store is a rebadged version of an already existing free app. Candace Owens, who's an American author, who said,
Freedom phone. Literally, I'm holding a phone that is not controlled by Apple and Google. I think this is like the most amazing thing ever.
Yes, Candace. So am I.
You need to get this phone.
I don't know, Candace. Need is a pretty strong word. I need food, I need water. I probably don't need an unknown spec $500 notched rip-off phone. And clearly neither do you. This girl spent a good minute talking about how easy it is to switch her SIM over and how it's the first thing she did from her iPhone, and yet her tweets after this video are still coming from an iPhone. Oh yeah, and how could I forget?
You can get 10% off by using just my first name, Candace. If you use the code Candace, if you use the code Candace at checkout.
There are plenty more of these endorsement videos, but probably the funniest one is from a girl called Anna Kate. It's literally 30 minutes of $1 million. But this is the worst bit. So far, all we've gathered is that all the phone's main selling points aren't really selling points, but this is where it goes from bad product to scam. See, this is an America First phone, right? This thing's entire angle is that your data is yours, get away from spyware, etc. Even the logo is based on a US flag, except it's actually built by a small phone company in China. The one country that Donald Trump, who's almost like the supposed inspiration for this phone, accused of spying. The guy even went as far as to complete the company he was working with was in fact UmiDigi, known for their shockingly low cost and absolutely not their reputation for security. Oh, and would you look at that? UmiDigi already has a phone that looks exactly like yours. The A9 Pro. The notch is the same, the buttons are the same, the camera layout exactly the same. These are not two different phones. So what you actually mean when you say you worked with UmiDigi is that you went onto Alibaba and you ordered 1,000 phones for $100 each. I mean, by this logic, Tim Cook and I are best friends because I've been ordering his iPhones for the last 5 years.